This was Alberto Puello versus Subriel Matías. Now, this was the WBC super lightweight title fight, and again, incredible fight from start to finish. I thought this was a fight, two different fights, the first half and the last half. The first half, too much Matias, doing what he always does, getting on guys' chest, outworking them, chucking a million punches nonstop, coming forward in your face. And credit to Puello. He was picking his spots. He was trying to use his length, throw some combinations on the outside, keep him off of him. But then things changed the second half of the fight. Matias started to tire some. I thought Puello made some adjustments, some changes, started to get more distance and space that he needed, started to land some big shots, continued the back and forth action. Incredible fight. We went to the scorecards, and in the end, I disagreed with this one as well. I thought Puello should have been the winner, but unbelievable performance, unbelievable fight. In the end, Matias gets it, wins the world title again. What'd you make of this decision, and what'd you make of this great fight?
I'll start with the same thing I said in the first fight. There were no losers. There's no losers here, really. These guys both deserve to get their hands raised. Maybe a draw would have been good. I don't know. But they both could have got their hands raised. I thought Puello won too. And I based it, it was very hard for me to even score it because it was that close. But I would have favored Puello a little bit on the basis of the cleaner, harder, just more, I hate to say more damaging, they both took turns, but more damaging, more consequential punches, I would have said. There's no doubt as far as the contest of who was busier, you don't need a punch count guy to tell you that Matias was busier. Yeah, he was busier. But the harder, cleaner, more better place punches, I think in certain rounds, maybe enough rounds, not every round, but enough rounds, went to Puello. And again, I have no real complaints because I love both these fighters. I love their attitudes. I love their professionalism. I love their heart. I love their skill sets, their determination. They don't complain. They just fight, and they leave it up to the people that's their job. Their job is to fight. They leave it up to the other people to do whatever they got to do. Matias is really that guy. You don't need Ray Arcel, Eddie Futch, anyway, you don't need Teddy Atlas. You don't need anybody telling you what the fight plan has to be with Matias. You got to get your punches off before he closes the gap. It's all about punching at the right range. And you got to move your legs. You got to do what you said. You got to keep separation, but it's hard. I mean, it's like saying you got to not get wet in the middle of a rainstorm. You know what I mean, bud? Like somebody tells you, hey, listen, come here, pal, come here. Meanwhile, it's like a monsoon. And you're in a monsoon, and you say, listen, you got to make sure you don't get wet. Okay, could you please explain to me how I do that? Please. I would love to know. That is really the advice you need when you're fighting Matias. There's going to be a monsoon. Monsoon. I'm sorry. Well, Carlos Monsoon might show up again. You believe in reincarnation? Hey, you never know. He might come back. You never know. But you're going to have this torrential storm, torrential rain, and you got to make sure you don't get wet. That is what you're basically getting ready for, physically and mentally and technically, when you fight Matias. You got to have a game plan. You got to have the guy. You got have to have a guy sturdy mentally, not just physically, mentally, to be able to handle what the freak is coming, because it's coming, and it's coming, and it's coming, and it's coming, and into the last bell, it is coming. It ain't stopping. This guy is something. If you pick your friends, we all want to have the right friends. Pick him. He's a guy you want. By the way, I can see he's a good guy on top of it. But all kidding aside, you want him. He ain't going away from you. He ain't disappearing when things get tough. He ain't disappearing when you're not rich anymore. He ain't disappearing when you get in trouble and everybody's looking at you in a different way. No, he's going to stay there. That's why I say character counts. That's why I say it. People say, oh, Teddy, it's about this, the speed, about this. Yeah, I get it, but character counts. It does. And man, this guy's got character up to gazoo when it comes to that kind of freaking determination and constitution. And Puello is tremendous too. Tremendous. Because he wouldn't have been able to stand up to those winds and that rain and that hail and everything that came. It was a tremendous fight. When there's range, Puello's got to. I always say, you got to make hay when the sun's shining. When there's a little separation, bop, 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 you got to get him off. You got to get him off. And then when he gets in close, if you can tie him up. But to the credit to Puello, he didn't tie him up. He fought with him on spots because he was able to punch inside in some spots. But really, you want to be able to have a little separation. You want to be able to use your legs. But man, it's like trying to get away from one of those little dogs that's biting at your ankles. You walk into someone's house and they forget to put that dog away, and he attacks you, that little freaking thing, and you're trying to get away, and everywhere you go, he's right on your leg. You can't get away from him. That's like trying to get away from Matias. You can't loosen yourself from the guy. Look,
like 140-pound Arthur Betterbeef.
He is, and you're right, and he just and credit technically too. Yeah, he gets hit. Yeah, he keeps coming. Yeah, he's one-dimensional. He's all of that. He doesn't cut the ring down perfectly. All of that, but when he gets in close, his punches are short. They are. That's one thing. They are short, nice little punches. They really are. And he goes to the body. Both of them went to the body. I wish I was a multi-zillionaire. I wish I was, because I would just send a check to them both. I mean that. Just for what they just gave us. Say, here, whatever you got, you deserved it, but you deserve more. Here's a extra. That's how they make you feel if you're a real fan of what this sport is really about. They just make you admire them.
Yeah, incredible fight, incredible breakdown, and I'm going to say it again, incredible preview by you last week in the lead up to this. You said his biggest strength, his offense, could also be his biggest weakness. I think we saw that fully in this fight on both ends of it. This is the first win for Matias in his career that's not by knockout. So his 23rd win is 22 knockouts. So another credit to Puello being the first guy to go the distance with him.
100%, bud. And I add this. Same thing I added after the breakdown of Morel and Katiev. You have to have a rematch, don't you, bud?
I was just going to say that if anything could disappoint you at the end of that amazing fight, that was it. To have Dalton Smith in the ring, and take nothing away from Dalton Smith, but we need the rematch. And the good news is, although we will not get the rematch right away, since then, Turki Al-Shalik has said that Puello will be the mandatory. We'll get the winner of Matias' next fight versus Dalton Smith, which is going to be in November in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia.
And again, we'll preview that fight when it gets closer. But how much did this fight take out of Matias? That's all I'm going to say.
You're right, bud. You nailed it. And to wrap it up, you said it before, and I'll just echo it again now. That kind of fight style I've seen in the NFL, especially with safeties, let's say. But the durability and being able to last, what is that shelf life? And at 33 years old, with 25 tough fights like this now, I'm with you. That is a concern.
And sometimes it's more about being in the right place at the right time, bud. You've been around life enough and in the NFL for over 16 years. Sometimes it is about timing. you have to favor Matias in that fight with Dalton Smith. We'll get into it later more, but it could be the right timing to get a guy coming off this tough a fight without too much time to recover. You could be in the right time at the right place, or the right place at the right time.